From one race to another, let's talk about what happened in Japan, the F1. Lewis Hamilton, it's pretty much done and dusted now, isn't it, Conor?
I said that last week. It was pretty much done and dusted.
I said after Singapore, I beat you to it, mate. So, but I didn't think it was going to happen like this, where Sebastian Vettel would let it go so quickly, and there's still 4 races to go, and we all thought at the start of the year it was going to go on until the last race.
Yeah, it looked like it was always going to go down to the wire at the start of the year, but it seems as though it hasn't really been a lot to do with Hamilton's great driving. Yes, he's a fantastic driver in a great car and whatnot, but the Ferrari car is better than him. I think it's been really down to the mistakes that Vettel's made in some of his races, especially the one at the weekend in Japan when he collided with Ricciardo, was it?
Verstappen.
Yeah. It's this. I think it's a bit unnecessary sometimes. Really, you got to try and do your best for your team, and it's no wonder why Raikkonen wants to go, because it's just feeling like I'm playing second fiddle to you, and you're not even doing
it.
Yeah. So it's like, why am I still here? So
it's funny because on Twitter and Instagram, obviously when something doesn't go well for an athlete or a manager, there's a lot of slating, isn't there? And Arriva Bene has been apparently falling out with Ferrari and the team, and it was funny because the race strategist, I can't remember his name, he's been getting a slating on Twitter all weekend because of him getting it absolutely wrong. But it's been like that for 2 years now, Conor. The tactics just aren't working at Ferrari.
No.
And as you say, the car's more powerful than that Mercedes. But yet again, it just shows with that determination from Toto Wolff and co that they can come out on top still.
Yeah, and it seemed as though they made amends with Bottas as well, because he seemed to be pretty happy and content with finishing in the second behind Hamilton.
He's the Rubens Barrichello of Mercedes.
Yes, he is. But let's see how long he's going to be there and how long it takes until another Finn driver gets outraged at the number 2 to a number 1 driver. But that's a different story for another day. Lewis Hamilton certainly deserves this now, and it's just a case of now, as we were mentioning on the way, just making sure he finishes just ahead of Vettel when we go to Austin. Was it in 2 weeks' time?
2 weeks' time, yep. You're spot on. Yes, the US Grand Prix, which has been a Hamilton track since 2012 when they brought it in. So all he has to do now is, I think he needs to finish, as long as he's in the points, Hamilton, and he's 2 places ahead of Vettel at least, then it's all
Can
done
I
and
ask
dusted.
a question? Isn't he... hasn't he won 5 championships or something? Or
Nope, 4.
So this will be his 5th.
This will be his 5th.
So he'll be 2 behind Schumacher then.
2 behind Schumacher. And
let's hope he can beat the record.
Well, his contract is until 2021, I think. So if he could do it in that time in a very good car, squeeze him in just about.
Verstappen and Ricciardo did pretty decent at the weekend as well.
Especially Ricciardo started 15th and finished 4th. He was gutted he didn't get podium, but 4th is better than 15th.
Yeah. And Verstappen doing decent, no longer
your best mate.
He's no longer my most hated driver. I told you 2 weeks ago it's Sirotkin now. Yeah.
Well, you'll be happy to know he finished second last.
Yes.
So, or last, I can't remember. But mentioning Lewis Hamilton, 50 race wins since he joined Mercedes, which was, of course, back in 2013.
Yeah.
We've only got a quick moment before we finish the show. I remember when he announced he was going to leave McLaren. This was his boyhood team. He won a world championship in 2008 with them. He was winning races for them. But before McLaren went downhill, he decided, you know what, I'm going to join Mercedes. Okay, it might have been because of the money, but what decision? Is this one of the biggest decisions in F1?
Yeah, it's definitely, because you have to stop and think as to what could have happened if he had stayed, how that would have been a knock-on effect to other situations as well, especially at McLaren at the time. With Jenson Button there too, a brief point. So it would be how did that knock-on effect and how it would have played out into the future with today, with Alonso being there. Would Alonso want to team up with Hamilton again? Probably not.
Probably not.
So, to and fro's, but definitely one of those decisions that you look back in the history books and say that was a key decision for Hamilton's career and why he's had so much success, because of how Mercedes has operated as a team over the past couple of years has been fantastic. So
absolutely. And obviously he wouldn't be up to 5 world championships if he was still at McLaren. It's funny how one decision can change everything, not just in F1, but in sport in general.
Yeah.
Incredible. But would you say Ricciardo was the driver of the day then in Japan?
Oh, yeah, definitely. I mean, climbing the way that he did across throughout the race, shows to why, he wanted to move on and to properly secure his number 1 seat, and hopefully he has that success at McLaren next season.
Well, he's done the decision of what Hamilton had to do. We weren't sure about it. Could he do it Renault next year? We'll find out. But,
Renault and even not McLaren.
Oh, did you? I missed that. Sorry. I get mixed up. There's been so many changes for the drivers. Oh, no, Sainz and Lando Norris for next year. That was it for McLaren, in case anyone wants to know.